This ring is an everlasting bouquet for your finger. The polymer clay sculpting is easy, and you can use favorite colors from your scrap bin. So choose your colors and then join me and learn how to make this piece for yourself or a gift, something special, or just because. Hey there, creative people, Sandy here. Welcome to another polymer clay jewelry video at keepsakecrafts.net. The first thing you'll need to do before you start your ring is choose a blank bezel ring that you can make your piece of jewelry in. Of course, you can do this for other things. You could do earrings or a necklace, pendant. This is a fun kind of way to wear it. So here are a few different choices. You can just look for ring bezel, ring blank, and you'll find all sorts of possibilities out there. This one is a Lisa Pavelka product. She makes these in round and square. And these two came from Art Beads. I'll have links to these at the post that accompanies this video. This is a nice big oval one. And these all generally come adjustable. And this one's really pretty with lots of decoration around the edges, and this is the one I ended up using. I did start with this one, and I'll show you why in a minute. I said no. The next thing you'll need to do is choose your colors of clay. So for my flowers, I've gone with purple and pink and reds. You'll need a little bit of green and maybe some yellow or orange or whatever color you want for the centers of your flowers. Also, gather yourself some scrap green. It could be any color, but just in case some of it shows, I thought green looked best. I started my ring by making a nice dome on top of it because I thought that would look nicer to have the flowers kind of with a round form rather than flat. And the easiest way to achieve a dome is to roll your clay into a ball and cut off a piece. So let's say I was going to fill this one. I'll just roll an oval about that size. And that's a lot. That's kind of too much. So let me just trim that down a bit. That's better. So then you just get kind of a nice mound. So whatever shape you have for, and maybe a little bit more would be better, but not quite that much. Whatever shape ring you have, that's just how you start. This one isn't nearly so deep, so probably half of that would be plenty. There. That's about what I was looking for. It was just a nice dome to build my little bouquet on. Once you have that in there, it's not a bad idea to get yourself some scrap clay that you can stick your ring in. You can use this while you're working on it so it doesn't fall over and potentially mess up some of your little sculpted flowers. And also when you're baking it, this will be a sacrificial bit of clay. So make sure this doesn't wrap around the ring band. You want it to just sit into it, but you want to be able to pop it off. If it does wrap around, you can cut the clay off after baking. It's not too big a deal. Next, it's time to make our flowers. You'll need some sort of flower-shaped cutter for this. Here are a few of these smallest ones I have. This one is from the Sculpey Mini Geometrics set. This one was given to me. I'll see if I can find it. I think I've seen this online on Amazon. I'll see if I can find a link for it. This is part of the Kemper mini cutter set. These are truly tiny. So if you're making a bitty ring and you want lots of tiny flowers and you're prepared to be patient in making them all, then you can go for this one. But I decided to use this one. My sheets of clay are rolled out on a fairly thin setting, about a millimeter thick, which is a number 6 setting on my pasta machine, my Atlas. So cut out your flower. Use a blade to lift it up. To thin the edges and make our flowers a little bit more delicate looking, I have here just a piece of foam. If you do it on your hand, what will often happen is you'll end up getting palm prints on it. So this is just a piece of foam packaging. I'm sure you can find something similar. Use your ball tool to just roll from the center out to thin those edges. You don't need to be real heavy-handed here. Just a light touch will do. If you want, you can also add some texture, which I think looks nice. I just added a few lines. Now, one of the problems I had when I was testing this project was that I wanted my flowers to be cup-shaped, and, well, this is flat. It's not cupped. So what I figured out to do was to actually cut out one of the petals. So this is your opportunity. If one of them came out kind of wonky, like this one, you can cut that one right off. Just cut a little triangular wedge out, like that. Peel it up. Place that on your ball tool. And bring the other cut edge, bring those cut edges together and just lightly tap to kind of seal them. And just use your finger or a nail to kind of ease it off the ball tool. Now that will behave a little bit better. I'm using the small ball tool now to sort of give that more of a cup shape and a flare. And if those edges that you sealed together come apart, which it does happen, you can just go ahead and kind of spiral it. So put one of the unsealed edges on the inside and kind of spiral it around. Press that onto your ring, and you can use this to sort of shape it some more. And there you go. So why did I switch from this one to this one? Well, I started with this one because I thought, oh, a great big ring full of flowers sounds lovely. Yes, except that I had these done. This is 20 flowers. I had these all done, and I wasn't even halfway done. And I looked at it and I said, I'm just not up to making another 20 or 30 of these. And I took a very sharp blade and I actually cut all of these off of this ring and then put them here. So unless you know that you have a lot of patience and you're absolutely committed to making a bigger ring, you might want to start with something smaller. Because it takes a little while. You saw how long it took me to do that one flower. And this little ring, what is that? Maybe not even a half an inch across. Takes 20 of them. The next thing is to add some centers to your flowers. This really dresses them up, as you can see. Just makes them look more like flowers and less like a mess, I think. And just a few tiny bits of yellow and kind of an orangey yellow. I wanted a few different colors instead of having them all the exact same color. And I put about 5 in every center. So I got a little assembly line going. Use my blade, cut a bit, use my left hand, roll the ball. And you just keep doing that. The smaller they are, the nicer they look, I think. They look more realistic, if they look realistic at all. If your balls come out kind of oval like that one, that's fine. If you look at the little pistils on flowers, they are kind of like an oval shape. The best way I've found to pick those up is just use my 1/8 inch ball tool, and they stick, so you just tap it and they should stick. And then when you put them in there, if they won't, kind of wipe them off and they'll come right off. There. And add as many of those as you like. Like I said, I used 3 different shades and filled all of my flowers with little centers. And then finally, some leaves. For those, I rolled rice-shaped bits. Take a piece of paper, flatten it out, and that likely will be enough for 2. I love using these bent needle tools because then you can just get in there more easily. And again, I made a little bit of a texture. You can use your blade, sort of adjust that. Cut that in half. Scoop up 1. And I sort of pinched the bottom edges together. I went ahead and made another little flower just to show you a couple things. First of all, see how this separated? I mentioned that before. I'm just going to curl that one in and kind of curl this one around it. That's what I meant by just letting it spiral around. That gives you a little bit more movement, a little bit more shape. I found this little tiny 1/8 inch ball tool is awesome for going in there and adjusting the petals. Now I have 2 flowers next to each other so I can show you how I inserted all the leaves. I just took my needle tool, or that ball tool, and kind of poke them apart and made a little space. And pick up the leaf and tuck it down in there. And you again use the ball tool to kind of put them back together so it's all captured in there. And that's it. When you're done, you've got your little stand. You can just go ahead and bake that according to the manufacturer's instructions. Remember, this has some thickness, so I think I baked mine for an hour. So this one I used about 10 leaves with the 20 flowers, and all you need to do when you're done is pop it out, add some strong glue like E6000 or Polybonder or even super glue, and you're all set.